Alright, guys, now that we got all that news out of the way, let's get down to the fun stuff. Let's get down to the main title of this episode. Summer has officially come to an end in 2019. Now, I liked this year's summer. However, I thought there was a period where I thought the movies kind of weren't so hot. Like, the more I think about Godzilla King of the Monsters, the less I like it, to be honest, to the point I'm like, that movie probably wasn't very good. And I know I rated it a 3 out of 5, and now I'll probably give it like a 2.5 out of 5. Because you take out those monster fights, that movie's not good. I mean, it's, to be honest, it's not even that good, and even with the monster fights. The monster fights are brilliant. Everything with Godzilla is brilliant, but that movie is just... and then you had Secret Life of Pets, which was cute, but I mean, I barely remember what happened in that movie. Men in Black International is not so hot at first. Now, I watched Dark Phoenix. Obviously, many people poo-pooed on it, and I think I had very low expectations to the point where I'm like, that movie wasn't bad. I think I gave it like a 3.25 out of 5 Fernies, and I had a chance again to rewatch Dark Phoenix. Now, a lot of my pros are still there. I definitely think the second half is just amazing. Michael Fassbender's Magneto is great. But a lot of the problems started to stand out a little bit more. And now I get why people say this movie kind of stinks. Because there are scenes in the first half of that movie that are cringeworthy. That are just like... oh my goodness, like that scene with Dark Phoenix and the bedroom inside the X-Men mansion was just like, oh my god, that was disgusting and like, oh. But again, the third act was great, but there's just some stuff in that movie that's just no way, no. Absolutely no way, no. So like that's like the no way, no pile of this 2019 summer. I think I'd put like Men in Black International, Dark Phoenix, and Godzilla King of the Monsters. And yes, Secret Life of Pets was a bit forgettable. Nowhere near as bad as those movies, but those are like not so good. But we have gotten some pretty good summer movies. And so I like to list off my honorable mentions. Let's start this. So my first honorable mention is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I had a great time with this movie. It is a very fun Tarantino movie. The third act is great. The relationship between Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio in this film is just amazing and so much fun to see on screen. The supporting cast is great. It has some issues that I won't get into because I've talked about this movie a lot the last couple of weeks. Now, my next honorable mention is Spider-Man Far From Home. I had a blast with this movie. I'm still debating between which one I like more, Homecoming or Far From Home. But I had a blast with this movie. I was surprised this movie didn't end up in my top 5 list. I was absolutely surprised. Lots of great stuff in there. It's definitely one of my favorite MCU movies, and I had a blast with this movie. Now, I also got to get a quick shout out to Hobbs and Shaw. I had a great time with that movie as well. Jason Statham and The Rock was amazing. A lot of great fun action, but that movie also didn't make the cut. Now, let's get down into this top 5 list, and I talked about this movie earlier in this episode, and that is The Lion King. The Lion King comes in at the number 5 spot. I think I'd probably give it like a 4.5 out of 5 Fernies, which is around what I gave it in my review. I definitely loved this movie. I thought the songs, yes, people poo-poo on how Can You Feel the Love Tonight was sang during the daytime, and I totally get that. I get why people don't like this movie, but as somebody who has such a bias towards The Lion King, I love that movie so much, where I'm like... I loved this movie. I absolutely did, because Home Alone, I have different expectations than when it comes to The Lion King. Like The Lion King, I was expecting to see the same thing with some different things inside of the lore. With Home Alone, that's a different story. But with The Lion King, that's definitely what I got. I thought there were some great moments. I think you probably could have added a little bit more things that probably changed it up a bit from the original, but I loved The Lion King. The soundtrack I thought was really cool. The music was great. The voice talent was awesome. The CGI and the effects were just absolutely off the charts, game changing as most people have described it. Now, coming up at number 4, I caught this movie pretty late, well, a month late. That's why I didn't really do a review on it, because it was already way too late to do a review on this movie, and that is Rocket Man. I wanted to see this movie so bad, and I finally had the chance to see it, and oh boy, is this movie fantastic. I put it up there with Bohemian Rhapsody, and you guys know how much I love Bohemian Rhapsody. Rocket Man was great. It definitely is a lot more ballsy than Bohemian Rhapsody is, and Taron Egerton, this guy is a stud. He is amazing in the Kingsman movies, and he is amazing as Elton John. He transforms into Elton John. Is he as good as Rami Malek? To be honest, I put them pretty almost even. To be honest, that's how I loved this movie. It was ballsy. The stuff that they showed of his life. I think they balanced the fantasy stuff with the real life stuff pretty well. Richard Madden is great in this movie. This film is absolutely phenomenal. If you have not seen Rocket Man, it is great. It's not only one of my favorite summer movies this year, but it's one of my favorite movies overall this year. I adore Rocket Man. It is so good. If I were to rate it, I'd probably give it a 4.75 out of 5 Fernies. I love this movie. Now another film. Now look, this is a definition of a summer movie. And that is John Wick Chapter 3. Parabellum comes in at the number 3 spot, which is a little bit of a coinky dink. I love this movie. It's so much fun. I know I gave it a 5 out of 5 because I was just on that John Wick high. I don't think I'd give it a 5 out of 5 now, but that movie is so much fun. The action is insane. The action is absolutely insane. Keanu Reeves owns the role of John Wick. I mean, all the action is just so entertaining to see. Halle Berry was so good in this movie. There were some good surprises in this film. The storyline just goes off the rails, and it's just tons of fun. It is bloody, it is gory, and the final fight in the third act it's fun. It is so fun. The mirror fight was, oh my god, the third act is so good. All the fights in the third act were great. I mean, from the final action sequence, I won't give away yet because it's been fairly recent since the movie has come out. And then the mirror action scene was just so great. And again, with swords and motorcycles. And then with him on the horse, Yes, but like I said before, True Lies did it first with the horse. But the horse stuff was absolutely insane. I love John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, and if you not have checked it out, you gotta make sure to check it out, especially if you love action films. It is so much fun. Now, coming in at the number 2 spot, you guys' mouth might drop to the floor when I say this, and I'm including this movie because, I mean, I think it was close enough to that summer movie, and it's definitely a big, huge summer movie, and that is Avengers Endgame. That is right, the culmination of the Infinity Saga. I loved Endgame. I really did. Now, there's a lot of things in this movie that makes completely no sense. It definitely has a lot of continuity errors, but it doesn't matter. This movie was a blast to see in theaters. It was a great theater experience to see this. There's so many great surprises, so many great scenes in the third act. The portal scene is just absolutely thrilling, and I mean, there's even some great dramatic scenes from that scene with Tony when he comes back from space, and obviously the funeral scene was definitely impactful. From Happy, that burger scene was just, from Cap getting the hammer too, which just gave me absolutely nerd chills, and that movie was just a nerd's dream. It was amazing. I love Avengers Endgame. It's one of my favorite MCU movies of all time. I think I'd put it in the top 3. I don't know where, but I'd definitely put it top 3. Maybe even number 2, but Civil War's still number 1 all day, every day. But I'd definitely put Endgame up there. I adore this movie, and I'm sure everybody has seen Endgame. I mean, this movie is the biggest movie of all time. Now, who knows if that'll stay. But Avengers Endgame is number 2. And number 1, I love this movie. This is probably the only movie this year that I still give a 5 out of 5 to after thinking about it for over a month, and that is Toy Story 4. I adore this movie. this Toy Story franchise is amazing. Like the Toy Story franchise is probably one of the only franchises where all 4 movies I'd probably give a 5 out of 5 for, because I love the first one. I have a special bias with that one because the first Toy Story is one of the first movies I ever watched, and then Toy Story 2 is so great. Toy Story 3 is great, and Toy Story 4 is also just as great. I mean, the ending, oh my goodness, it got me. It hit me in the jellies. Well, that was also a reference to Detective Pikachu, by the way, which I also had a blast with. But Toy Story 4 was so good. I mean, the balancing of the humor and the dramatic stuff was just well done, and the dramatic scenes were great. I feel like, yes, some of the older characters were put like kind of like in the back, but you didn't really need them. Bo Peep comes back better than ever. I think her character's a lot better than it used to be. There's just lots of great stuff. Gabby, there's a scene with the Gabby that is just, oh my. And then Forky, who I thought was a character that might get annoying, his character was great. And overall, Toy Story 4 is still a 5 out of 5 Fernies in Kid Critics book. I adore this movie. I love this franchise. And you darn right that Toy Story 4 is the best summer movie of 2019. So to go down my list, on number 5, we have The Lion King, a great time. I love the movie. Again, the VFX are great. I think they did a great job of capturing some of the classic scenes and the classic songs. And you can say whatever you want about Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Rocket Man. It's one of the best movies of the year, not just of the summer, but it's one of the best movies of the year. Taron Egerton carries the movie. He's so good in this film. I mean, Rocket Man is utterly fantastic. John Wick Chapter 3, that's the definition of a summer movie. That's why I put it above Rocket Man, to be honest. Rocket Man is certainly the better movie, but that's why I put it over Rocket Man, because it's the definition of a summer movie. It is just so much fun. Then Avengers Endgame, I mean, I've talked about it a million times. It is so great. And then number one, you got Pixar's Toy Story 4. And again, this movie, it made me laugh. Made me tear up a little bit all at the same time, and it was probably one of my favorite theater experiences ever. I got a chance to watch it at the El Capitan. I never saw a movie at the El Capitan until Toy Story 4, and boy, it was just amazing. Maybe the experience has something to do with it, but I adore Toy Story 4. So yes, that is my list, and we have a lot to look forward to, and I thought I'd take some time to look to see what else comes out for the rest of this year. Now, we have a lot. I mean, not just Oscar movies, because, I mean, I love my Oscar movies, but you also got some other great, big, huge movies. I mean, obviously it was Star Wars, and The Joker, and Terminator, and so on. So, the rest of this month, not counting this weekend, so, next weekend we have 47 Meters Down, which I hear actually doesn't sound too bad. You have Angry Birds 2, which actually has like an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes. You have Good Boys. Good Boys looks hilarious. I don't think comedies have done so hot. We're seeing less and less comedies, to be honest with you. Like, more and more, less and less comedies lately, which kind of sucks. I mean, you had Long Shot, which I still haven't seen. Then you had Booksmart, but like a straight-up comedy, you don't really get those anymore, so I'm definitely hyped for that. And you also have Blinded by the Light, which also looks really good. And then the week after, it actually comes out during the week, you have Ready or Not, which just looks like a total blast. I mean, it looks violent and gory and hilarious and suspenseful all at the same time. So that's kind of it for August. And then you also have Angel Has Fallen, which doesn't really look so good, to be honest. And then you go into September, and the first weekend of September, you got It Chapter 2. We talked about it a little bit. I cannot wait for that movie. The ensemble cast is great, from James McAvoy to Bill Hader to Jessica Chastain, and some newcomers that look great. And then Pennywise, the dumb little clown. I mean, just goodness gracious. And the weekend after that, you have Goldfinch. Now, I've talked about the trailer a little bit, but I liked the trailer, either though, I mean, it's kind of confusing at the same time, but it also has a fantastic cast, and I'm sure it's going to be up for Oscars. You also have Ansel Elgort in there too. And the weekend after, you have Ad Astra, which I cannot wait for. This week, the weekend of September 20th is huge because you have Ad Astra, Downtown Abbey, and probably the best movie of 2019. It's gonna be your Best Picture winner, Rambo: Last Blood. I cannot wait for this movie. I can't believe it comes out in almost a month. I cannot wait for Rambo. I'm probably going to do a back-to-back. I mean, I don't care for Downtown Abbey. I'm sorry if you're upset, but I don't really care for Downtown Abbey. But Ad Astra and Rambo: Last Blood is going to be probably an amazing back-to-back. Hopefully Ad Astra is good. The trailers are alright, even though there's so much, but it looks pretty solid. It kind of looks like Interstellar, but I like Brad Pitt and Tommy Lee Jones, even though my guess is probably not going to be in the movie very much. And the weekend of September 27th, you have Abominable, and that movie, it looks like a pretty cute animated movie. I don't know if I'm going to see it. The Hunt, I saw a trailer came out for that movie, and I hear it's pretty good. And then you have Judy. I did a trailer reaction to this for the second trailer, and I totally forgot about this movie. And it's the biopic of Judy Garland. It looks great. It looks just utterly fantastic. I cannot wait to see this movie. And then the weekend after, you probably have my second most anticipated movie of the year, and I dare to say it's probably even up there with The Rise of Skywalker, and that is Joker. Joker looks, oh my god, it looks great. It looks like a love letter to Martin Scorsese, and I adore Martin Scorsese. Something different with Todd Phillips. I mean, I love what he did with The Hangover. And Joaquin Phoenix is probably one of the best actors right now. You also got Robert De Niro in there, Alec Baldwin. You got a whole bunch of other people in that movie. I cannot. The Joker trailer was probably my favorite trailer of the year. I cannot wait to see this movie. It's going to show up at a bunch of film festivals, which shows some confidence and a lot of confidence in this movie. And I mean, we're less than 2 months away from Joker. I cannot wait. Then the weekend after, we have The Addams Family, which the trailer actually looks pretty cool, but I'm not a huge fan of The Addams Family. But that definitely looks interesting. And then Gemini Man is probably gonna be the movie. That movie definitely looks like a bunch of fun. Just first of all, the de-aging in that movie is probably some of the best de-aging I've seen. I mean, who knows if it holds up in the movie, but the action looks great. Ang Lee, Will Smith, heck yeah. And then the week after, you have the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. I'm not huge on Jay and Silent Bob. But that Friday, you have Jojo Rabbit, which is Taika Waititi's movie, which I'm definitely going to see, and I'm probably going to have to do another back-to-back because you have Jojo Rabbit and Zombieland Double Tap. And you guys know I'm a huge fan of the first Zombieland film. It is a total blast, and I'm sure that's going to be a fun, and absolutely insane and idiotic weekend between Zombieland Double Tap and Jojo Rabbit. I mean, come on. So that's kind of it for October. I mean, that's a pretty good October. And then the first weekend of November, you have Terminator Dark Fate, which I'm in the middle still with it. I don't know. But I'm like, I hope it's good for the sake of the Terminator franchise. I mean, for all we know, after this movie, if this movie doesn't turn out so hot, Bob Iger's going to take out the axe and axe it, and he's going to say, "Hasta la vista, baby." I wasn't trying to do an Arnold impression, but let's pretend I never said that. But let's just hope that movie's good. The weekend after is gonna be an amazing weekend because you got Doctor Sleep. If you guys did not know, The Shining is my favorite horror film of all time. I dare to say I'm just as excited for Doctor Sleep as I am with It Chapter 2, if not more. I cannot wait for this movie. The trailer, I was just drooling over the trailer, even though I haven't even read the book. I was drooling over the trailer. You have Obi-Wan Kenobi himself, Ewan McGregor in this. I love him, and I cannot wait to see this movie. You also have Midway, and I loved the trailer for this movie. I might even have to do another back-to-back. I'm telling you, it's insane. And then you have probably the Best Picture Oscar winner right here, Playing with Fire with John Cena. That looks absolutely horrible. But in limited release, you also have Honey Boy, which I talked about. So I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to watch that one because you have all these other movies coming out. But the weekend after, you have Charlie's Angels, which I don't really give two hoots about because I'm not a Charlie's Angels fan. But you also have Ford vs. Ferrari, which looks amazing. So that's also going to be a pretty fun weekend. And then the weekend after, I mean, we just talked about this movie not that long ago. Oh my god, actually. This weekend's huge. The weekend of November 22nd. You have 21 Bridges with Chadwick Boseman, produced by the Russo brothers. That movie looks really good. And then you have A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood with Tom Hanks, which looks insane. I cannot wait to see that movie. And then you have Frozen 2. Now, you can poo-poo with whatever you want on Frozen. It just got so popular to the point where people poo-poo on the movie. I like the movie. I don't care. I don't care what you say. Kid Critic likes Frozen. I don't care. Now, Frozen 2, that's oh my god, that's a packed weekend. And then the weekend of Thanksgiving, you have the Knives Out, which the Rian Johnson film with a great ensemble cast from Daniel Craig to Chris Evans to Jamie Lee Curtis to Toni Collette. I mean, you have a great ensemble cast in there. And then you have Queen and Slim, which is another movie with Daniel Kaluuya, which the trailer looks really good. So that movie, that looks great. I mean, November is packed. November, October, September is packed. I mean, that is absolutely insane. So the first weekend of December 6th, you have the Playmobil movie, and whatever. And then the weekend after, you have Jumanji: The Next Level, which I cannot wait because I think the trailer looked really good. I had a blast with Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, so I'm sure this one's gonna be a lot of fun too, hopefully. And December 20th, everybody's most anticipated movie of the year, Cats, comes out. Now, look, a lot of people also just fart all over that trailer, but who knows, that movie can be something. But you also have probably, it's my most anticipated movie of the year because I'm such a huge Star Wars fan. That is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I mean, you have all these rumors coming out. I mean, the Shmi Skywalker thing with Rey, I gotta talk about that real quick. That theory, I don't know how people have the time to come up with these crazy theories. I mean, they must be sitting in their basement and be like, "Ooh, what theory should I come up with this Star Wars?" I mean, probably because like the news with Star Wars has just been slow. I mean, who cares? But the Rise of Skywalker, I'm definitely hyped for it. But get that Shmi Skywalker stuff out of here. And I swear, if there's time travel in this movie, I'm gonna flip. But maybe they do it well. I mean, it's very rare you see that happening. I mean, there's even errors in Back to the Future, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. But I cannot wait for The Rise of Skywalker. I loved that trailer for Rise of Skywalker. Palpatine, heck yeah. And then the day of Christmas, you have 1917, which looks amazing. The Sam Mendes movie. It looks like a lot of fun. And then you have that Spies in Disguise movie with Will Smith and Tom Holland, which looks fine. They have Little Women, which has a great ensemble cast. I don't believe the trailer has come out for that movie, but that movie also looks like it's probably going to get a bunch of Oscar potential. And Just Mercy, which I've heard of. I've heard of that movie, but I don't know anything about it. But like I said before, we got a loaded rest of the last of the we got a loaded, let me say this again, we got a loaded second half of the year from all these big movies, from Rise of Skywalker to Terminator to Zombieland Double Tap. Oh, I totally forgot, I didn't even see this. The weekend of October 18th, when Jojo Rabbit and Zombieland Double Tap, you also got Maleficent 2, which is insane. So, I mean, from that to Zombieland to Maleficent, which I don't really care, to Frozen 2, to Jojo Rabbit, to It Chapter 2, to Doctor Sleep, to all these Oscar movies like Ford vs. Ferrari, to Cats. I mean, come on, to Jumanji: The Next Level. We got a bunch of fun stuff. To 1917, we got such a Rambo Last Blood. Gotta put in there. And then Judy. I mean, we got a bunch of good stuff. The Goldfinch. And then obviously, I gotta talk about The Irishman, which is also gonna go on Netflix later this year. I mean, people, it's just, come on. We got a great second half of the year lined up. Hopefully, it goes amazing. I mean, I'm sure some of these might be disappointments. I mean, we're kind of bound for that when we have highly anticipated movies. Now, I cannot wait for the rest of this year.